Hopefully you can hear this. I'm not going to talk too loud. I find it interesting about hidden worlds. This is a little hidden world. You know by now that there's a road right there where my fire circle is situated. It's off the parking lot, and I've got visitors in their cars parked right there, and unbeknownst to them, I'm sitting here enjoying my fire in a nice, aside from the road noise, very natural area. Balsam poplars, balsam firs, northern white cedar or eastern white cedar, depending on what field guide you're looking at. My leafy teepee, a debris hut, which actually, if you stuff it full of dried grass, is very comfortable even in the wintertime. The stage, various and sundry artifacts spread throughout. I just returned from visiting a neighbor, just a neighbor down the road here, because he wanted me to walk around the property to look for invasive plants or other plants that he needs to watch out for. And he told me the story of an eagle that he witnessed. He was out on his back deck, which overlooks Little Traverse Bay, and he saw this big eagle way the heck out in the lake, struggling. He thought it was drowning, and he called the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources, and the DNR agent told him, wait for the car, to just watch and see if the eagle was really in trouble. And he goes, the eagle's splashing around, looks like he's drowning, somebody needs to get out here. Well, he watched and said that the eagle was literally and actually, not just figuratively, doing the breaststroke. The eagle was swimming. And the eagle finally made it to shore, and in his clutches was a salmon that must have been 30 to 40 pounds. This eagle went out, caught this big salmon, and swam to shore, feasted on the salmon, and then the gulls, herring and ring-billed gulls, there's technically nothing, no one is a seagull, various kinds of gulls, gullery, and it shared the remains with the gulls, herring gulls or ring-billed gulls, lest we are inaccurate. That is an amazing story. The DNR officer said that he had heard stories from the natives in the area that they have witnessed such things, but as far as he knew, no one in modern times had seen an eagle go out, snag a giant salmon that was much larger than him, and then swim to shore, doing the breaststroke. Interesting. Birch. Well, it just so happened that, well, let me skip behind first. We want to be who we are, and sometimes we don't even recognize, who we are trying to be. Every time I walk past a golf course, I see people hunting. They have their quivers. They have their projectile. They are launching the projectile, figuring wind, they're figuring distance, they're figuring terrain in order to get that projectile to its intended mark. Yes, I am talking about golfers. It's funny that we don't even recognize what we're doing, but golfing is hunting. It's in us. Just like the seasons. It seems like, skipping forward to seasons. I guess this is just kind of a rambling fire talk, which is what you do around the fire. Is it sometimes calendars get in the way? If you live in a place, if you're lucky enough to live in a place that is seasonal, you can just feel things. You can feel one season crashing into the next. You can feel, just like you can feel right before sunset, that breath the world makes before the sun goes down. You can feel that breath the world makes before that front hits and then the rain comes. We have that ability to recognize what's going to happen in the world just like our animal friends. Next subject. Well, Michike had his lovely little pond, and if you're from Michigan or heard of Michigan and you know that it's Turtle Island, Michike, Michigan, you can guess what kind of a creature Michike is. Michike's little pond was his home for many years, and it really never changed, aside from seasonality. Spring would come and Michike would wake up from the bottom of the mud, swim to the top of his pond, survey his surroundings, look around and say, I love my pond. I know all the aspen trees. I know where all the plants are. I know how to catch little creatures that I feed on. Life was good. Year after year after year after year, because Mashike could live many, many years. Well, Mashike, one fall, went down to the bottom, dug himself in the mud, and went to sleep for the winter. Woke up, buried himself, dug out from the mud at the bottom of the pond, swam up. But something strange was going on, because swim, 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 and it seemed like he was never going to reach the top. It was much farther of a rise from the bottom than it had ever been. Well, he got up to the top and looked around, and it's like, oh my gosh, what happened? My pond is so much bigger. That little stream that used to be the outflow is gone. Instead, there's this big old mass of sticks there. The trees have been cut down along the shoreline. This is not good. I do not know what happened. Well, Mick saw Mashike rise to the top, slapped his big leathery tail on the water, and swam over to him and said, Mashike, what are you doing in my pond? And Mashike was, Mick, what do you mean? This isn't your pond, this is my pond. It's been my pond for many years. And Mick was like, yes, and I improved it. I'm the engineer among the animal world. I can take a little pond, a little measly pond like yours, and I can turn it into a beautiful small lake. I can change the course of the water. I can change the plants around it. I'm creating my own little world. And the other animals appreciate it. Well, Mashike didn't. And he said, you need to leave. You need to get out of my pond, and you need to allow it to return back to its original state. Now Mick was like, no, it's my pond now, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so Mashike said, I will fight you for this pond. And Mick just laughed. He's going, I'll bring all my brothers, and with our big yellow teeth, we'll cut you down to size. Well, Mashike might have been slower, he might have been smaller, much smaller, but he was clever. And so he said, I'll tell you what, Mick, kind of a sucker's bet. I'll bet you that if we start at this end of the pond, race to the other end of the pond, I can beat you. And when I beat you, you will give me my pond back. Mick was laughing at him. There's no way. I'm so much bigger. I'm so much stronger than you. There's no way that you can beat me in a race across the pond. But if you want, if you're foolish enough to do so, I will race you. And whoever wins will become the owner of this pond forever in a day. Well, Mashike, being a clever little rascal, told Mick that I'm going to call the start of this race. And Mick agreed. Doesn't matter. He's going to lay waste to the Mashike. Well, they lined up, and before the start, Mashike kind of saddled over to him, or sidled over to him, close. On your mark, get set, go, he said. And as soon as he said go, he reached over and grabbed Mick on the end of his tail. Not hard enough to let Mick know he was hanging on, but hard enough that he could hold on while Mick went racing across the pond. There they are. Mick paddling furiously, not even bothered to look back, because he knows he's much faster than Mashike. Mashike holding on to Mick's tail. Right before they reached the end of the pond, or the edge of the pond, Mashike bit down on Mick's tail, and it made Mick flap his tail up, which threw Mashike onto the bank in front of him. Mick was looking back to see what had happened and didn't even notice that Mashike was flying over his head and landed majestically on the edge of the pond. Well, so it was that Mick was a beaver of his word. Oh, I let it slip. And because, unbeknownst to him, how it happened that Mashike got to the edge of the pond before Mick, it was once again Mashike's pond. The original tortoise and the hare story. I suppose that I'd better get to work. Another car just came in. I'm going to let the fire die down a little bit. I'm going to let you digest the stories which I have related to you. It's too bad you can't smell the cedar and the sweetgrass burning. It's a lovely smell. One of those words I never thought I'd hear myself saying, along with fabulous. But age changes us all. Have a good one.